Alrighty then. Okay. Of course, this morning belongs to you in large part. But why don't we make it that I just get us going? What I'd like you to do, I said to you yesterday, I'd like you, with your presentation, I'd like you to be, to just be able to walk up with a USB stick. Do me the favour of just dragging the file that you're going to use onto the desktop and pulling your USB stick out. It just solves all of that. You don't have to then submit it to me separately. It means that they'll all just be sitting on the desktop, and that's just handy for me to remind myself. The other thing is I am going to run the recorder to remind myself, but I'll be sitting at the back banging away on the rubric anyway. So look, it's meant to be a fun morning. It's meant to be pretty cool. Look at a bit of a look at what we'll do today. I'll mix it up a bit because there's a bunch of students. That's the collective noun for students. There's a group of students are going to have an activity they're off to do, and it just makes sense then that I get the interactive stuff done in the early part of the day. So we'll take what we need to do on our proposals. We'll take as long as we need, but as I said, we really want 5 minutes, 8 slides, bang through it, do it quickly. You get your 75, we're out. Are you saying not too much talking? Yeah. So we do that. We'll run through, we'll play the point game, we'll play the random number game, the lottery game on answering tube questions. You remember the boardroom game where you're falling asleep in the boardroom because meetings are boring. You're falling asleep in the boardroom and somebody says, "Hey Cullen, what do you think about that?" You give a smart little nugget of understanding, and then you're off the hook. And so I've got 10 of those. We run it on the 10 tables again. And so we play that game. Hopefully we learn a bit of stuff out of that. We'll take a break for lunch as always, and then we'll come back and I'll run through the surveys part of Qualtrics, of the lecture notes, a little bit to do with measurement, which is really important. But I also want to do what I've said before. You can see it mixes up a little bit with what's written in the book, but it works. We're more or less running to schedule. We'll do the Qualtrics masterclass as well, okay? So those of you who've done the right thing and brought their computing power along, will be able to flip the lid and bang away on the Qualtrics survey. That'll give you an idea about what you're doing. You're a bit light for computing power, eh? You've got an iPad. It will run off an iPad adequately. And we can have one person running on here as well. So we'll see how we go. Yeah. Actually, we can have one student running on that computer while I run the laptop up to there. So we'll be fine. We'll work something out anyway. So that's a bit of a plan for today. Let's do a recap. What was I talking about when I did this stuff? This is about when we're designing our data collection tool, our data collection instrument. What was the overall principle? Simple word, one word principle. And the funnel approach, okay? And we do that. How does it work how does it fit in with that? How does the funnel approach fit in with the idea of the observer effect? You know, the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, or like the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. How does it fit in with the observer effect? Why do you start talking about supermarkets in general before you start talking about fair price finest? Why are you just going loose and easy with the respondents before you ask about fair price finest? Yeah, you're not priming, you're not changing, you're trying to change the observation as little as possible. So, and people are really slippery characters. There's all sorts of errors that come in, like the acquiescence bias and all of these biases that come in because we want to please the interviewer, or we don't want to please the interviewer, or we, all of those, and so hopefully we can minimise what we call non-sampling errors by using this funnel approach. Just sort of sneaking up on the respondent and asking them questions. Panel data, we spoke about that. How does the panel data system work? You know, remember what this is, the product category. You call it potato chips. The product category, we get shopper and category sales, and then how many units of each brand are bought. How do syndicated data people collect that panel data stuff? What's the technical mechanism they use? How do we get an inventory? How does a supermarket get an inventory of what they sell? Sorry? They see it? They do stop. Yeah, the receipt. And what feeds the receipt? What's the data process that feeds the receipt? Simple, looks like this. You're gonna, somebody shout the word out at me, please. Stop saying me from this. It looks like that. Yeah, that's right, barcode scanner. So every item gets scanned, okay? And, okay, so we've got a piece of data that is the potato chip barcode, no problems. What's the other piece of data that we need? How do we get that? How do we get the shopper? Want me to draw a picture again? It's like this. It's not a credit card. Loyalty program, that's it. Swipe your card, that's perfect. So, scan a barcode, scan the frequent flyer user card, and you put together that piece of data with that piece of data, and marketing people pay $1 million just for this. $1 million for 3,000 customers just for your own brand's sales and probably the category sales, to be honest, in Europe. I know it. A Garnier brand manager told me, he said, gee, that data's expensive. Just to get Europe and only our brand's sales, and I think he must have also meant only our brand sales plus the category sales, $1 million. So look, that's a bit of a run through. Why are we writing and so any minute now I'm going to hand over to, who's the winner? SMRT. Any minute now I'm going to hand over to Singapore MRT Group. But why do we present a proposal? We had about we tried to get to 5 reasons. What are we doing when we present this proposal? Set some objectives, write down the research problem. What are we doing with the client? Buy-in? Did someone say buy-in? We're forcing them to be a part of the process. You know, you've stood up, you've presented a proposal, we've said, this is what we think the research problem is, and I've got to tell you, you're doing the same with your marker. This is what we think the research problem is. This is how we plan to do it. All of that. It's basically saying, if you've got a problem with this, client, marker, tell me now, because I'm going to go ahead and do this. And if I do this and I send you the report and send you the invoice, pay the invoice, because now's the time to tell me if you don't like what you see. So that's pretty much put us where we need to be. Good on you. I've only used about 8 minutes and 55 seconds. One last thing. The ethics of market research. One of those things that we put on the list. Respondents must be informed of whether they're being recorded, all of that sort of thing. This is me informing you right now. I will be recording you. All right. We're legally bound to not show this to the world unless we have your release form. Okay. So you know, I'll just be breaking all sorts of rules if I just broadcast it. So you have that undertaking from us. Now I may come to you and ask, would you like to sign a release form and use it as promo, and then you as free-thinking individuals have the opportunity to just say, no, go away, come on. Easy as that. All right.